Out of the lineage of Hollywood mega franchises, there's always the ones that go beyond a simple film and into the cultural staple status. And without a doubt, the series that's cultivated millions of fans all across the globe to become a staple of pop culture only to inevitably crash and burn is none other than Star Wars. Given how Star Wars is loved by multiple generations of its over 40-year-long lineage, it was only inevitable for it to become an ingrained part of internet culture, and because of that, I thought let's look at the history of Star Wars memes and internet jokes from all throughout its history on the World Wide Web. And given how in-depth this franchise is, it's very safe to say that we've got a lot to go over. But before we start, I just want to say it's coming very soon, don't you fret, young Padawan. But anyway, let's just hop right into it. Now, originally my plan was to go through every film in release order, starting with episode 4 and ending with whatever the hell you'd call this abomination, going through all the different quotes and moments that became memes throughout the years. However, for the sake of the structure of this video, I've decided to split it up a bit. So firstly, before anything else, I want to go through all the different quotes from the franchise that have become iconic memes online. Since if I were to go through and explain them all individually, it would just be an hour-long video of me just explaining words on a screen and it'd be the most boring thing ever. So I'm gonna be doing sort of a lightning round, going through every single quote on this list I made, doing my best impression of every single character. Since let's be real, we've all seen these, there's nothing to really explain here. And let's go in timeline order to spice things up, starting with, the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. Now this is pod racing.
Roger, roger.
Visible confusion. I don't like sand. And I killed them. The women and the children. I slaughtered them like animals.
I love democracy.
She can't do that. Shoot her or something. This is where the fun begins.
Do it.
The Negotiator, General Kenobi. A fine addition to my collection. Time to abandon ship.
Another happy landing. This whole operation was your idea. You were on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Good relations with the Wookiees, I have. You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Ironic.
Hello there. The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
He's too dangerous to be left alive.
Unlimited power! Execute Order 66.
Pastor Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do? Liar! You turned her against me! You have done that yourself! You have become the very thing you swore to destroy. I will do what I must.
Into exile I must go. Failed, I have.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well then you are lost! It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! You were the chosen one! It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
I hate you!
No!
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close. Congratulations, you are being rescued. But of course I know him. He's me. I've got a bad feeling about this. You scruffy-looking nerf herder! You can't say that word! Only we can say that word!
I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further.
There is another.
I am your father. And I also killed C-3PO. Yo, dudes, the Empire's, pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
That's a trap! Well, it's an older code, sir, but it checks out. I have spoken. Traitor! That's not how the Force works. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Traitor!
That's big boy. Big boy? No, big boy. You gotta say it with me, folks. Big boy.
The sacred Jedi texts! You're still holding on. Let go! Blow that piece of junk out of the sky! I want every gun we have to fire on that man. More! More! Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong. Somehow Palpatine returned. They fly now! They fly now? They fly now! Jeffy, I'm gonna hit you. What do you think about...
Adam, first man next to die.
Freddy, is that you? Yeah, it's me. Oh my gosh, the buried Freddy. Bad bear! Now, after that magical adventure, let's get right into some more specific memes. Like, for example, Stormtrooper aim. This one kinda goes out of the realm of memeing, and is more so just a staple of pop culture, since a lot of scenes in the original trilogy show just how comically terrible the Stormtroopers are at shooting. I mean, you can probably count the amount of main characters who actually get shot by these guys on one hand, and yes, that includes R2-D2. And it's not like they improve when it comes to the First Order or the Separatists or anything. I mean, it pretty much just transfers to every villain in the whole franchise. Like, for example, I just called him Guido, Jesus Christ. Greedo, who shoots first in the special edition only, and just completely misses a point-blank shot. Like, man deserved to get blasted after that one, dear lord. After that, though, we've got Palpatine's bodacious hologram from episode 1. Because you see, and I want you to listen real good right here, listen to me, this is important. The hologram has this warping glitching effect, to which if you pause it on very specific frames, you're gonna find a rather caked-out version of the Emperor.
That's a huge bitch.
This one gets used in all kinds of ways, like from just posting it everywhere as a funny image, or using it for more spicy and saucy memes, but I mean, this is just kind of a classic, taken from some random screenshot and shared online. I watched Star Wars for the plot. Next up, though, let's talk about our little marketable friend, Baby Yoda. His name is not Grogu, that name sucks balls. And what else can we talk about than the iconic image of him with the soup? I mean, this image is just kind of iconic at this point. The original screenshot and scene from the show is just magical, with him staring at Mando while sipping his little cup of soup, without a single care in the world or neuron connection in his brain. But since it's him holding something, of course people took to editing what was in his hands, to which pretty much everything on the planet has been photoshopped in. As well, this one goes alongside another screenshot from season 1, which are usually paired with each other and make memes about your childhood and parents and stuff. I've said it in the other meme videos, but this is just a classic. Taking a topical screenshot from something new on TV or a movie and applying it to memes. Which, speaking of, I also remember seeing tons of memes that combined Baby Yoda with a bunch of other 2019 stuff back then. Like, for example, Tiny Rick Sanchez, as well as shrunk down versions of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and Keanu Reeves from E3 that year. And they made memes about friend groups and when you were young and how growing up sucks. But yeah, you get the idea, Baby Yoda was an icon. Next up, let's go over some memes from our lovely little lad, George Lucas. Considering his interesting approaches to filmmaking, there's a plethora of jokes relating to him and his quality control, specifically him wanting to put Jar Jar Binks in literally everything, as Jar Jar is of course his child and he doesn't want anything mean to happen to him. And then there's George Lucas's iconic line, again it's like poetry sort of, they rhyme, which was taken from a film storyboard meeting relating to episode 1. Explaining how Anakin accidentally blowing up an entire space station is the exact same thing as Luke blowing up the Death Star. Okay, Chief. And I can pretty much guarantee you've seen this in at least one video essay in your life. Then there's George Lucas sitting on his pile of money after he sold Lucasfilm to Disney. This one was big back in the day from when Disney immediately took over. Everyone was freaking out because they thought they were going to put Donald Duck in Star Wars Episode 7, and how Disney was going to ruin Star Wars. That would never happen. And George is just going to be chilling on his $4.05 billion, like in this Lego set concept made by Wookiee Nuts, which is just comically hilarious. And of course there's the random-ass documentary that George Lucas just so happened to be in the background of. This video documentary, titled Bryce Mulligan on Molten Salt Reactors. Around the 50-minute and 40-second mark, George instant transitions into the background and goes along his merry way, entering some sort of retail abode. I mean, this is really just a highlight of the internet's history. There was probably a better chance of the moon colliding with the sun on that day than George showing up right here at the perfect time. Like, goddamn, this is beautiful. Now onto a more recent topic. Let's talk about The Acolyte, because sure as shit nobody's doing that, considering this show premieres in only a few days on Disney+, and absolutely nobody is talking about it and nobody cares. And with the release of this poster for the upcoming series, many took to editing it in all kinds of ways, and I'm not even gonna really explain what these are. I'm just gonna show you a bunch on screen and let them speak for themselves. I mean, it's such a whatever nothing burger design that has so much potential for memes, with pretty much every single one just clowning on the show and the fact it exists. Boy oh boy do I love sitting and cackling in my humble computer chair watching Disney Star Wars crumble to the ground. Then after that we've got Yoda Slap, which is a video I can't even really explain, so I'm just gonna play it and let you guys assess things for yourselves for once.
It's better. Oh my! It's so much worse. We should never see
Yoda is better than...
That's what you get.
Going back a bit though, there's a lot more Lego set concepts that are absolute gold. If you've seen any of M&R's videos on the matter, you'll definitely agree. Just for how absolutely absurd these would be if they were real. Like, most of these would either have like one or two singular pieces, or just a pile of thousands of the same brick over and over again. It's just so goddamn goofy and fun to look at. Next up though, I want to go back to talking about Jar Jar Binks, which, man, it feels like I'm saying that in every video these days. Which, given how iconic of a character Jar Jar ended up being in the entire prequel trilogy, and given George's fixation on the masterfully written character, as well as this fucking lollipop, Jar Jar jokes are pretty much a staple of the Star Wars fandom at this point. So much so that many people genuinely believe that he was a Sith Lord at one point. There's a lot of really good videos and examples talking about this whole fan theory, but there is a shocking amount of evidence when you look at just episode 1 alone. And if you didn't know any better and was presented with all this evidence, you would probably genuinely believe that Darth Jar Jar was the plan for the whole trilogy. Some people genuinely assume that he was intentionally bad and the only reason he was included was so that George could create the ultimate Star Wars villain, but yeah, we ended up getting Senator Jar Jar instead. Then going back to The Mandalorian, let's talk about the iconic Admiral Jeff Blue Jeans. If you somehow don't know, in episode 4 of season 2 of Mando, There was this one shot of Grief, Karga, and Mando entering an Imperial hideout, where you can see a lovely lad standing in the back. From what I could find, the identity of this on-set worker was never revealed, unfortunately, but it doesn't take away from the fact that memes and references to this guy were made by the boatload. Blunders like this are always the funniest, where it's not some editing mistake or random goof, but you'll have some modern thing left in some fantasy or sci-fi world, like that one time they apparently left a Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones. I mean, I've never seen Game of Thrones in my entire life. That's the only thing I know about this franchise other than the dragons not coming. But the fandom gave this guy the in-universe name of Admiral Jeff, the Blue Jeans guy, with all kinds of fake merch, cosplays, and everything in between. Though it didn't stop the evil corporation that is Disney from censoring him from his well-deserved screen time, digitally removing him after the initial spread of the meme. Absolutely disgraceful. He'll live in our hearts forever, though. Next up, though, we've got to talk about bad lip reading, in which they perfectly match up the lip movements of the characters with custom dialogue and make it comedy gold. Like, for example, there's Yoda in Episode 5 singing about seagulls, as well as catching fish in his basket. Or Yoda again in Episode 8 talking about his stick. Very nice. There's more, but honestly, I don't want to spoil them. And plus, they're all done in song, so I don't want to risk getting copyright claimed if I play them. So just go and check these out when you're done with this video. You will not be disappointed. That is, if you haven't seen them already. I mean, there's hundreds of millions of views on these for a reason. After that, though, we've got a parody that's more my cup of tea and one I grew up with. Of course, the Robot Chicken Star Wars sketches. And before you say that this video is sort of leaving the realm of memes, shut up, this is my damn video, and I can say whatever I want. Bookie, bow your head while I'm talking to God.
You bitch!
These are just absolute gems. From stuff like Palpatine getting a phone call and finding out the Death Star just got blown up.
Who's they? What the hell is an aluminum falcon?
Jar Jar haunting Vader for years after the prequels. Or, of course, the most iconic one, the Empire's Bring Your Daughter to Work Day. This one is truly special.
Gary here never sees his daughter because of people like you.
There are so many of these from so many episodes, it would be impossible to list them all. But just know these are never not going to be funny. And every time I watch these, it makes me think of how Star Wars Detours never came out, which was pretty much a kid version of this. I mean, that's just bullshit. Oh yeah, and while I'm here, I might as well mention the Family Guy Star Wars specials, which have so many amazing moments that include lines and jokes I've already talked about in the video, done with the writing mastery that is Family Guy. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as the Robot Chicken skits, just with more story attached. However, something that trumps every single one of these is our man, Matt the Radar Technician, who comes from a skit on SNL, which is a parody of Undercover Boss, which is set on Starkiller Base and released when The Force Awakens came out. And it features Adam Driver reprising his role as Kylo Ren, but now he's undercover as Matt the Radar Technician, working on Starkiller Base alongside his other lower-class workers. To which the entire time, he is just shot on and hated on by all of his peers. And when he finally reveals that he's Kylo Ren, nobody's surprised since everyone can figure it out by now. This is just an amazing way to parody the film, and the fact it features a main actor from the source material is just the icing on the cake. This is just awesome. And it even led to a reference in Battlefront 2, where you can find Matt's iconic vest on the tables when you get up to a Star Destroyer in the game. Absolutely iconic. Then after that, we've got another parody video I want to bring up, which is Troops, which is a parody of Cops, however it's set on Tatooine, and has two stormtroopers, who go about their daily routine of gunning down innocent Jawas, and simply talking about the Empire and stuff to the camera, and it's just amazing. A really nice slice of life story that's really funny, and I'm not gonna spoil the ending. If you haven't seen it, you gotta go watch this one later. The ending is absolutely crazy, it sticks with you. Then after that, there's a few smaller ones I want to go over before I wrap things up. Like, for example, it's just like the simulations, which is the voice line that a clone trooper says in the 2017 version of Battlefront 2. And it gets used when someone does something crazy like mugging people on the street and saying it's just like GTA. This one's one of my favorites. Then there's this iconic line from The Force Unleashed I quote way too much.
You agreed to stay away!
I lied.
Battle droids, just kind of in general, as they are quite frankly the most perfected character design in all of human history. So we have things like Franklin and Lamar roasting each other, but they're both battle droids, as well as the iconic Lego versions of them. These guys truly are iconic. Then there's written and directed by George Lucas, which is simply a green screen effect you can add on to any sort of meme that has an abrupt ending, with the iconic Star Wars theme blaring in the background. What else we got? There's Jawa Juice. You want a cup of Jawa Juice? There's the Obama. There's Jabba the Hutt's fat ass. The Lego Yoda death sound.
You're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
We were just about to have some cheese.
The Slug. Glup Shido. Yeah, let's talk about Glup Shido. Originally starting out as a tweet complaining about Star Wars fans for getting excited over literally any character making a cameo, and making up the character of Glup Shido as an example, it took off into giving literally every single background Star Wars alien this name, and it's quite frankly the funniest thing I've seen in my entire life. After that though, we get to the end. The final thing I want to talk about. And oh boy is this a good one. So back in 2020, an Australian relationship was broken up after 3 years, after the boyfriend supposedly was caught cheating on his girlfriend. So in an act of desperate revenge, he would plaster a poster all around town claiming to offer a $100 prize to the person who can do the best Chewbacca impression, and attached was a phone number to place your submission, which was his ex's. So as you can guess, hilarity ensued. This is just awesome, and surprisingly the ex-girlfriend seemed pretty amused by the whole thing and was a good sport about it. But I mean, come on, this is absolute gold. If people were to call me and start doing Chewbacca impressions, I'd be open to the prospect of listening to them for 6 hours straight. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, it could be 3 a.m., 3 p.m., nobody cares. As the ancient text said, thine shall not disavow Chewbacca impressions. And there you go. There is the history of Star Wars memes. I'm very happy I finally got to talk about Star Wars, since it seems like the meme videos are the best way to talk about new franchises. Since as I've been saying, Sonic is just sort of not getting old, but I'm sort of running out of things to talk about. So I'm glad I can finally bring up other stuff like indie animation or Marvel or Star Wars and stuff. And this whole ending is unscripted because I have a weird habit of not writing ends to the script for some reason. So I'm just gonna tell you all that again, it's coming soon. He arrives soon. Dawn of the final hour. Thank you all for watching this epic video, and I hope you guys like the new editing style. It does make videos take a bit longer to come out, but I think it's worth it since it makes my videos seem way more professional. I mean, as professional as talking about Has-Been Hotel merchandise for 20 minutes can be. So yeah, subscribe right now or I'm Vader Rogue One-ing your asses.